Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Let's thank our members first. Bell 360, Invictus, and Crazy Bull. The guy actually changed its name, but yeah, thank you all the members, vloggers, uh, Foxbet, Fishbet, everything. It helps a lot. Make sure to subscribe as well, and let's get into it. So today we have the same type of video that we did with the US and the Soviet Union, so you can check that out in the channel if you want to. But we are going to check it out, what can come to the high tiers of the German tech tree, and try to mess a little bit to make it a little bit better as well. So let's start on the right side here. I think one of the obvious things is to actually remove the MiG-23 from the bomber line. It doesn't make any sense that it's a bomber because it is more of an attacker kind of thing than everything else, so I really think that we should move the MiG-23 from the bomber line to the attacker line here. And after that, really hard to find anything to put in here, probably nothing, but after that we can have obviously the tornadoes, they are more bombers than anything else, interdictor bombers, so we can have the normal tornado IDS that the German Luftwaffe actually used. So you would have normal bombs, AIM-9Ls, some guided stuff depending on if it's added or not, like anti-radiation, stuff like that. But yeah, the BR would be around 11.0 at least, something like that, probably a little bit more even. And it has a very, very good ground radar as well. So that would be the first thing. And after that, we can have a modernization of the Tornado IDS that the Germans have. The Asta. So yeah, it would be very cool because it is just a little bit more modern, maybe even as an upgrade for the Tornado IDS, but Gaijin normally doesn't do that. Normally they add as another vehicle, normally, sometimes they do it, but not much, The Tornado IDS Asta would have more guided bombs like the GBU-24 and stuff like that, more modern systems for guidance and stuff like that. So yeah, it would be just a little bit, tiny bit modernization. Probably would be an upgrade thinking about it right now, as like basically a package that you can buy and in the upgrades, and then you would have the new, basically new system for that, for guidance and stuff. So this would be the end of the bomber line. Obviously the IDS is the end of that. Then we go for the actual line of the MiG-23 here. Obviously here we have this is kind of a bomber interceptor / attacker as well. It can be used as that. But then we have the F-84F. Nothing else to be added here. They had another variants of these aircraft, the F-104F, for example, and the RF-84F. But they're reconnaissance or trainers, so we're not going to add too much, even though we already have a trainer here. Then we would have the MiG-23BN, obviously, as I said, coming from the bomber line. Would make more sense here. Then obviously the Su-22 UM3K, a Sukhoi that we already have. And then after that, we can have the basically Su-22 M4, which is basically the same aircraft as the Su-17 M4 that we already have in the Soviet 3. It would make it, the Germans actually have a very powerful TV-guided missile and stuff like that, so it would help a lot on the guidance, So yeah, Su-22 M4 would basically be 11.0 as well, So R60Ms and stuff like that. Not much to talk about it. It's the same aircraft as the Su-17 M4, but for export. No idea why they add this, actually, this variant. We should have just went for this, but since we have this, I think we should get the M4 as well. Then on the kind of mixed line here that we have the G91R3, the Horten, we would have the light jets or the trainers, we can have the Alpha Jet A, which is the main variant that the Luftwaffe actually used. So that would just have probably early AIM-9s, maybe, but in general it would be gun pods and bombs and stuff like that. Not too much of an impact on being a high tier aircraft. It would be around 8.7, 9.0, maybe 9.3 depending on the performance, because it has a very good power thrust rate depending on the aircraft that it faces. It's similar to the climb is a little bit better than even the Limb 5. So it is a very very modern aircraft in the sense of performance. With such like weak engines and stuff. So very cool jet to have it right here. After that, the L39ZO, which is the trainer weapon trainer, basically. We would have it as with the GDR, with the DDR, with the Democratic Republic of Deutschland, So basically, we would have another L39 at. It depends on the BR, but it could use R60s, So it can be a very high BR if they wanted to, like 9.7, 10.0. The performance itself, it's similar to the Alpha Jet. It's not something like amazing. So yeah, it's just a trainer, but it can use gun pods, it can use bombs, Fab 250s and stuff like that. Even Fab 500s, it can use. It has basically 4 pylons, and it would carry 2 500 kilos on the inner pylons and 2 250s on the outboard pylons. So yeah, it can carry, I mean, a ton and a half of bombs, so it's pretty all right. You could also carry 2 Fab 500s and 2 R60s, as I said. And it would be very, very cool to have it. I think it depends on the, I mean, it could even use the R60M, but I would not put it with the R60M because then the BR would have to be way too high. So normal RC, for my opinion, normal R60s at 9.7, maybe without the R60s 9.3 or something like that as well. Around that BR, depending on weapon-wise that they add. Pretty cool aircraft as well. Then we have the Alpha Jet ICE, which is the improved combat equipment, I think it's called. Basically, it's a modernization of the Alpha Jet A, It is the same aircraft, but with more modern weapons. It can even use the M9L and AGM 65s. So, yeah, it could be like 10.0, 10.3, because of the missiles, the performance itself would be even better than the A10. So I just think that it would be all right at this BR if he gets the M9L. And yeah, it's interesting aircraft to have it, Would have basically the same performance, but with better weaponry. So yeah, I don't know if this should be added, maybe as a premium or something, I don't know. But as I said, an improved version of the Alpha Jet with M9Ls, okay? And yeah, I'm putting pictures of the aircraft for you to see if I can find proper pictures, Then we have the main line of the GDR here. So we already have the MiG-15Bs, the Limb 5P, which translates to a MiG-17PF, So we don't need the MiG-17PF anymore. MiG-19S, and then we go directly from the MiG-19S to the MiG-21MF. And Germany actually had many MiG-21s between these two. So we could use the MiG-21F13, but better, I think, the MiG-21PF. Maybe the PFM, because the main difference between them is the engine, but still, the PF would be all right. It would be 9.3 or 9.7, depending on the weapons that it uses, It would be basically just like the SPS, but with a less capable engine, and it would make the bridge between these two aircraft. I mean, this is a 1954 aircraft, and this is a 1969 aircraft. So, I mean, even though, MiG-21s took a while to get to the German service, still I think it's fair to say that we need a bridge here, and it's even have the little space for it here. So MiG-21 PF or PFM, I wouldn't say the PFM just because it's the same aircraft as the SPS. Maybe the PFM without the R60s, But still, I think, normal R13Ms, maybe something like that. It would be nice to have it in 9.7. So yeah, pretty good. Then, of course, the MiG-21MF, MiG-21BIS, MiG-23 MLA. Then, obviously, it would end with the MiG-29A 912A, okay? So this MiG-29 is the only MiG-29. I think they use the trainer as well, but the UBs, we don't care about the UBs. But basically, it's the only MiG-29 that the Germans ever used. The G that you normally see doesn't actually exist, okay? There is no such thing as a MiG-29G for the Soviet service, GRD9. the 912As that were upgraded with NATO standard equipment, comms, IFF, multiple things like that. Okay, so basically we only have the MiG-29A 912A to be added. Because the weapon-wise, everything is going to be the same between the A and the G because they are the same aircraft. The only thing is, cockpit-wise, some minor stuff to make the pilots NATO standardize it, you know? So yeah, MiG-29A would still have the powerful, very similar radar to the Soviet one, if we get MiG-29 913 there. It's basically a little bit less capable in certain situations, but nonetheless, it's a very, very powerful aircraft. At start, it could carry 4 R60Ms together with 2 R27s, Rs and Ts, you know. But there's a catch. Even though the MiG-29A 912A could carry the 27T, I couldn't find confirmation that they actually used the R27T. They probably didn't, you know. But since the MiG-29A 912A can actually carry the R27T, it probably would have it the same way as the F4F have the AIM-9J, you know, so it would be basically mean the same thing. If it's in the manual, it will be added. So it's like the R3Rs for the MiG-21s and stuff like that. It is in the manual that it could use it, so they are using it. Remember, the game itself is basically focusing on a part that would basically mean a wartime operation. So we kind of could imagine something like Germany actually having this type of weapon if a war broke out, you know. So yeah, but this is the Soviet line. I think these 2 aircraft are the final ones. Then we have the normal fighter lines, or then it turns to the Western Germany, you know, West Germany. So 262s and 163s, CLs, everything's fine here. F86K, nothing to say about it. F104G, I still think that, I mean, this is simulator better ratings, but the F104G needs to be, it is 10.7 right now in NRB, and I think it should be 10.3, or I don't know, because at 10.7 is suffering a little bit, but yeah, what can you say, right? Then the F4F, obviously, a late version, basically late 70s version, you know. So we have the early would be the 1973, 1974 version. Then we have the F4F with being the 1977, 78, 79 version, okay? Then we obviously would have the F4F ICE. We have 2 variants of the ICE. Technically, you know, the upgrade program was basically divided in 2 parts. You know, the first part was in 1983 with the new radar, the APG-65 already, and A9Ls, obviously. And you already used the A9L, so yeah. And then the ability to carry BVR missiles. I couldn't confirm via a proper source, but there are sources provided by one of our Discord moderators that the ICE could actually carry the Sparrow missile. So the thing is, we couldn't confirm it, but maybe we could divide between the ICE 1 and ICE 2, or have just one, you know. I still think that having just one would be suffice, you know, for now having the F4F ICE, like right now, in this patch even, with only A9Ls and the radar, obviously, and the Sparrows, you know, from the time. And then later it could be upgraded once we get more Fox 3 missiles like the MRAM, like the R77, like the Derby, missiles like that. We could see the ICE actually just receiving the weapon and technically being an ICE 2. Because the ICE 1 was actually meant for already to carry the MRAM missile, but the MRAM missile was introduced like in 1991, 1992, I think. So yeah, this is the time of the ICE 2, basically. That was the total package integration for the AIM-120, okay? So the ICE 1 would basically means that it would only carry Sparrows or something like that. And then the ICE 2 in 1991, so the ICE 1 is from 1983, and the ICE 2 would basically be like around 1991, and then would carry the AIM-120. So yeah, I don't think it should be 2 aircraft, but I think it should be 1, that we got with the sparrows, if it's confirmed that he used them, you know. If not, even it can be added right now without the MRAMs, you know. In 1983 they didn't have MRAM, so it can be used. I mean, the package was there even though the MRAM was not in service yet, so they could use the F4F ICE being just without the MRAMs. Put it the AIM-9L there, and the APG-65 would have an amazing radar and better equipment in general, maybe better air-to-ground weapons, and AIM-9Ls, APG-65, and we're done. Another F4F for Germany, and I think we really need it, or at least give the AIM-9L for the normal F4F. I don't know, but still, I think it should be added right now. The ICE modification, maybe if, as I said, even if it's a 1983 version without MRAMs, okay? And then obviously the last aircraft that the Germans have, and the Germans will have for all eternity, is for in the game, at least for now, it is the Eurofighter Typhoon. You know, the Eurofighter, it is going to be the most advanced aircraft that the Germans have and will have for a long time. So it is going to be the end of the line for the Germans, you know, while the Americans and the Soviets and the Chinese will start to have fifth generation aircraft in the future. I hope so in War Thunder as well. The Eurofighter will be the maximum that we have. Maybe there is modification programs and stuff like that to be more, you know, to be better in general to fight these aircraft. But the Eurofighter is going to be the last aircraft to ever exist for the Germans. So yeah, we are not far from it, and that's one of the points of the video, even to show that the US and USSR have a ton of aircraft that can be added, the Chinese as well. But there are some aircraft, there are some nations that are going to be limited, especially the UK, Japan, especially a lot, Italy, France, Sweden. You know, these nations, they don't have too much stuff to be added until the end of times, basically, until the last aircraft to be added for the game, you know. But the Germans, they have a little bit more, but not by far as well, you know. So they will have less stuff in general. I still think that they should add the Tornado IDS very soon, together with the UK one and the Italian one, and I hopefully the MiG-29 as well. But all these aircraft, they are fun to fly, and I cannot wait to fly them if they are ever added, you know. But yeah, guys, basically this is it for the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about my ideas behind it. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see another tech tree that I can show. For example, like Japan is going to be a very, very quick video if I did one on that. But for example, the UK can have some stuff in lower tiers, you know, even though the high tiers won't have too much. So yeah, let me know in the comments. And I want to actually maybe redo the USSR one in the future, just because I have kind of a better way to do these videos right now, you know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I see you guys on the next one. So bye, guys. See you.